Hey, Coach, it's Trevor Gross from CUTigers.com. Coaches like to say that it's never as good or never as bad as you think when you look at it on film. Just how did the game break down for you as you evaluated the film?
Well, very pleased with our effort, how hard our guys played. I thought we played physical. I thought we tackled really pretty well. Created a lot of pressure up front, and one of the more complete games that we've played in a little while against a good quality opponent. They've been very efficient on offense. The quarterback, when he's been in, he's been really playing at a high level. And they do a great job scheme-wise and presentation. So had a number of guys that started their first college game and played a lot of guys. So continue to develop, our defense and our depth. And, just there's a lot to build on. Every week presents a new challenge. And so you got to kind of start over and see what fits and what doesn't. But, really pleased with, being able to develop our roster on defense and have opportunities to improve and get better. And even, through, a real dominant win, there's plenty of things to teach from and correct from. And that we've got to continue to get better. We were far from clean, but really no real glaring issues from mental errors, things of that nature. Just got to continue to improve our fundamentals and, win more one-on-ones, whether that's winning in an A gap or that's beating somebody in pass rush or being more efficient on some of our movements and cleaner, and our timing's got to improve. And overall physicality was good, but, we're always looking to get better that way and clean up some things in coverage. Some of our man-to-man concepts in particular, and some of the play actions. We got to do a better job, recognizing the play action and when we're in zone coverage, helping out, in the right spots and underneath, and not give up so many windows and clear opportunities for the quarterback. But a little better at disrupting and containing the quarterback. But there's a few times that we let him get out that we've got to improve. We're playing an athletic dual threat quarterback this week as well. And moving forward, it won't change whether it's Florida State or, teams that are down the road.
Brent, this is Pete from AP. You talk about the efficient performance and the effort that you guys had. How much of that came from having Skalski, Jones, Tyler back, and the guys knowing there's a confidence that the team you saw back in September is now back together?
Well, I think, first and foremost, our guys have practiced really well the last 3 weeks. And prior to those guys coming back, our guys have been practicing well and getting better and gaining experience. There's a difference when you're always taking number 2 or number 3 reps in practice. The next thing you know, you're taking the first team reps. Yeah. And just like Jamie was as a sophomore, third-year player, not a lot of people were excited about when he went in the game, because he over pursuing or ducking his head or wasn't in the weak hook when he should be. His timing wasn't as good on a pressure or something like that. Or Balin even a year ago, super inconsistent as a sophomore. Nothing to be overly excited about. Very inconsistent in tackling and coverage and things like that. His knowledge was just, he's at a different level. So, all those young guys that have been able to gain valuable reps here, while some of the guys have been banged up, has been very beneficial. And again, have seen, again, the incremental improvement that you got to make as the season goes on, and as you're, as a player is maturing, within your system. Having those guys back was terrific. But there's still a bunch of young guys that are around them that I think they were all confident in the game plan and how, again, we practiced and just earning the right to play at a high level. Some of those guys didn't really practice a whole bunch, but we slowly got them in. So I don't know what the percentage would be, but Jamie's very confident in the game plan and can convey that to the players, and he's got a great presence to them. Same thing with Tyler. as well. And so it's always good to, again, have your experienced players back up. The experienced players are going to play consistently, first and foremost. They're going to play aggressively, which leads to physicality and precision. They're going to play the situations within the game. And so, again, situationally, you'll have a chance to be, even cleaner. And again, having Mike back out there, again, it's a safety valve. If things aren't going well with maybe some of the younger guys, he can always plug that. And but he brings, again, I don't know if a wealth of experience is the right word, but he certainly brings experience as well that translates to, again, just consistency. You doing the little things right. So, but as excited as you are about those guys working hard to get back out there and just having a great appreciation for them, and noticeable, again, leadership across the board, being strong up the middle, was the continued development of some of our younger players, or again, a guy like Mario that's been, just, he couldn't get out of his own way in regards to some just injury and COVID issues and some things like that. So to see him get out there and have some success in his first start was great to see. And or a guy like Ray Thornton, who got his first start, really for the most part played real well and was in good position. Sometimes when you don't notice him, that's a good thing, and doing his job. And I think in our dime package, Tyler Venables got in there and started and was in good position for most of the night. And CB Malcolm Greene was outstanding, and really excited about his play, as well as many others that were able to continue to get the opportunity to get out there and gain some experience. And it's a little easier when you get in the game and you got a 40-point lead, as well as the other thing I would say, because teams are very one-dimensional in that situation, and things are just much different. Your calls are different, what they do is different, and there's not, it's not a tight game, so it's not like they can do everything. So sometimes guys get in there and people wonder, well, man, how he's making all these plays. Well, he knows exactly what plays they're going to run, because they're very one-dimensional in those situations. But it was great to be able to see guys get out and have some fun and play, again, aggressive. And again, there's still plenty of things to teach from, even some of the guys that maybe didn't play as many snaps, but played maybe in the second half later. We're able to get out there and have some teachable moments.
Brent, this is Matt. You mentioned Malcolm Greene. Just what he said you guys had gotten him ready the last few weeks in practice to play a bigger role. What did you see from him that made you think that he was ready to take on a bigger role?
Well, nothing any different. Just feeling like, we felt like our hands were tied just with the cornerback depth, and just not really knowing what those numbers were going to be from one week to the next. That was really our plan all along. So just continue to emphasize with Malcolm, what he needs to do if he plays inside as opposed to outside, and still keep him mentally ready for the outside corner. It's a little easier schematically to play. It's hard to play athletically, but a little easier from a job responsibility standpoint. So just trying to get him, Malcolm, prepared from a fundamental alignment, the savviness, all those types of things, and certainly the assignments, run fits, leverage and coverages, things like that. And so fortunately we had a couple of weeks to try to continue to bring him along, but it's something that we've been doing all year, but it's you just haven't felt like maybe just trying to prepare for what if you get one or two corners banged up. You got to have some answers instead of trying to figure it out on the fly. So it's just been a dilemma that we've been fighting through, but he really stepped up and did a nice job.
Hey, Coach, it's Trevor again. You mentioned Virginia Tech's quarterback, Hendon Hooker, is a dual-threat guy. Their running back, Herbert, leads the country in all-purpose yards. He's fourth in rushing yards. How difficult a guy is he to wrap up with his low center of gravity?
Yeah, they're all excellent players. wish Herbert was still at Kansas. He's an excellent player. Plays with great vision and instincts. Got a great burst. Hard to get down. Gets a lot of yards after contact. They do a great job in their presentation. Put you in a lot of conflict, run pass. So they do a terrific job. They're really humming on offense.
You went up against Justin Fuente, of course, in 2016 and again in 2017. Just what kind of an offensive coach is he?
Yeah, excellent. Again, great success on offense. They move the ball on everybody, score a lot of points. Again, put you in a lot of conflict, run pass with their RPOs, and got big, strong players at both running back and at quarterback, and a veteran offensive line, one of the higher graded offensive lines in college football. And they've got a lot of experience there, and at tight end and at receiver. So, they got an experienced group of players on that side of the ball, and got a big physical, strong presence to them. So Justin does a great job, again, with presentation and play calling and putting the players in position, to be successful, move the chains, and score points.
Brent, this is Larry Williams. Through 9 games, 23 of your guys have started. Have you ever experienced anything quite like this in your career as a coach?
I think it goes without saying. I have not, and super proud of the guys that have been able to grow up right before our eyes. And sometimes there's some frustration with that. But you see some real exponential growth when these players are able to get these kind of opportunities at such a young age. And but it feels like you're having we've talked about it every week as a season of its own. You don't know what next week's gonna have in store for you. So just have a one game mentality. And you say that a lot, but in the coaching profession, sometimes it's a little bit of a cliche. But this week, or this year rather, you've really felt like you have under the circumstances, because you don't know what the roster's going to have for you, and whether it's injuries or, again, COVID issues or what have you. We've had it all, and we've probably are like a lot of people. I would imagine that's same issues going on across the country. But very proud of both our coaches and our players, preparing our guys, and the players stepping up and being ready, and having a go for broke mindset. And again, for the most part, by and large, again, there's going to be certainly some bad with the good, but guys have really performed well, under the circumstances.
Coach, it's Trevor again. Malcolm Greene was just telling us how much of a mentor Kayvon Wallace has been to him. I know Malcolm doesn't play safety like Kayvon, but are they pretty similar just from a versatility standpoint?
Yeah, sure. Malcolm and Kayvon are two of the more versatile guys that we've had here. Can play multiple positions: safety, corner, nickel, dime, six-pack. Really thrive. Welcome the challenge, because that's a real challenge. You got to, again, have the instincts and the toughness, certainly the skill, and then the willingness to learn it. You got to put in extra time. You can't just throw anybody there and say, "Oh, just go cover him." And so there's a lot of time that goes in, but other than just the practice field that goes along with that. And then the guys has to have the propensity to do it, at a young age. And both of those, Kayvon and Malcolm, both showed, the ability to just, pick up their football junkies and able to pick up schemes and just understanding big picture, have a pretty good understanding of players around them. Those are all things that help you play at a consistent level, and at a high level. You're able to play with a lot more confidence if you not only know the what, but the why, and certainly the how. And both of those guys at a young age have shown the ability to do exactly that. So that's why you try to find guys like that, but they're hard to find and very coveted at every level of football.
Anything else for Coach Venables?
Brent, I think yesterday I'm sorry. Go ahead, Matt.
Sorry, Larry. I was just going to ask. I know Sheridan and DK were both out. I know you touched on it some, but how do you feel like the young quarterbacks as a whole played in the group did with those two guys out?
I mean, again, felt like they played, really well. Again, there's plenty of things we can get better at. That's going to be that way week to week, but thought they really stepped up well. Fred and Andrew and Lee Anthony. And who's our other guy?
Talk Anthony, Fred, Malcolm.
Mario, player of the week, whatever. Don't forget him. But yeah, those guys stepped up, really practiced well. And that's going into the game, felt very good because of how we practiced and really have practiced the last couple of weeks. And, try to, grade that every single day. Every day's game day, every rep you take's a game rep. And very hard on the guys, very hard to please us coaches, and they've answered the bell. Have really, again, have made just tremendous improvement. You look at where Booth was, I'm sure everybody's out there. I'm just guessing, but everybody's out there wondering, what's wrong with Andrew Booth after his first game as a starter against Wake Forest. Couldn't cover anybody, couldn't show up in the run game and cover two, and just spazzed out, man. He was just too excited and let the moment get the best of him. And here we are, whatever we are. I mean, is it 9 games? How many games have we played? 9 games later, he looks pretty good. He looks pretty savvy. He's made some, exceptional plays along the way during the journey as he's kind of, again, just slowly getting a little bit better. There's always bumps in the roads. That's what happens with players. Football's a developmental game. And the more you play, the more you practice, the more you have repetitions, the better opportunity there is to, again, have trained reaction. Defense in particular is all about train reaction. And so that's a process. And some guys pick it up a little easier than others, but usually that's not the case. And so, just talking about all of them as a whole, that development, it does happen at different speeds, if you will, for different guys, and at different times for different guys. A guy like Vic Beasley took him a little while. Kevin Dodd took him a little while. Shaq Lawson, the day he got here, he had great instincts. He was extremely physical. Was not afraid to put his face, on somebody. Was heavy-handed. Some guys need that, like a Cleveland Ferrell. He needed that development. He needed the weight room, which gives you confidence. Christian Wilkins and Dexter Lawrence were there sooner rather than later. But you go to a guy like Kendall Joseph that he had great instincts and all those things but how he played as a 5th-year senior, man, he was on a different planet from where he was as a freshman and sophomore. Again, just like you see Skowski, everybody loves Skowski now. 2 years ago, he was like, "Who's Skowski? Huh? Trey Lamar," or Kendall, put Kendall back in, or where's Ben Boulware? The Skowski guy. But that just shows you, again, what that maturation looks like. And I'm sure there's a bunch of Clemson fans that are kind of Johnny come lately, just trying to watch us just now and think all of a sudden we just showed up and this is how it's always been. And Coach Sweeney will be quick to remind you this has been a developmental program too, and we take great pride in that. And whether you sign a highly recruited guy or you sign a guy that isn't as highly recruited, there's always development that needs to take place. And then you have intangibles that are probably more important than anything. And the intangibles about work ethic and commitment and doing what's right on and off the field, and putting the work in every day and not growing weary, and having some failure on the way, and then handling the adversity and the failure the right way. That either promotes your growth or it's a hindrance to your growth. Your maturity. Can you take coaching? Can you take failure? Can you take having to compete every day? And that goes into the progress of every single guy and their development, and then where they're at. And some guys are, again, just to add water, and some guys, you got to spread it all out out there on the table, on the floor, or whatever. It's an erector set, and you got to put it together, and they can get there too. And I know that everybody wants it, right now, but it doesn't happen like that. So as coaches, we have a great appreciation when you see that incremental improvement, and you do that by just being great today. And we all, in our different fields of work, for example, that's how we get good at our crafts too. And through some failure and through some doors being shut in your face, and by doing it over and over and over, and learning and growing and improving, and so that's talking about getting back to those corners. You see a guy like Anthony, get his opportunities, and he had some failure in the game, and then he makes a couple of real nice plays too, and that's part of that growth and maturation. And Mario, he had some failure in the game. You'll be the first one to tell you, I think maybe the longest pass of the day, the 30-yarder. I'm low on the route. He just lost his leverage in man coverage, got a little high, crossed over, let the guy, bully him around a little bit. But man, he had two, incredible plays at a great time, just doing the little things right, and being in the right position, to make and execute those plays, whether they're layups or they're fly through the air with a cape on like Booth, the praying mantis back there coming out of nowhere. And, like he was the intended target the whole way. So it's good, all of it's good. And we need those guys to continue to come along, and that helps, other areas of our defense grow, as well. It all works together, guys playing well up front, guys doing the right things, and, getting their eyes in the right places in the back end and everything in between.
Brent, I think,
somebody else.
We'll go to Larry. Larry, go ahead.
Sorry. I think yesterday Trenton was the first defensive player Dabo mentioned during his conversation with us. What impressed you the most about what you saw from him Saturday? And is he kind of naturally suited to be that, edge, point of attack player who can play both on the line and at the second level as well?
Well, again, he has some really good gifts, and we're trying to find ways to get him involved. The one thing that he has going against him is just understanding and experience and knowledge. So find things that he's good at, and give him those opportunities, and still continue to develop him in other parts of his game as well. I think the biggest thing is, he has rushed the passer in his career. That's what he's done the most of if he wasn't playing running back. And so that's a little more natural to him. But, he's got a long way. He'll be the first one to tell you, as far as being a good pass rusher, he got a long ways to go, but he's got speed, explosiveness, he's got the ability to recover. He's got pretty good instincts. And then he's super coachable and very hungry, super tough. And so again, he made some plays wherever you kind of put him and kind of give him these jobs. He has shown the ability to make plays, and now you're just looking for sustainability and consistency, because he's got some things he's got to improve on from that standpoint, whether it's leverage in a pass drop, or when he can come get the quarterback, and when he's got to stay in coverage, things like that. That's all part of that growth. And sometimes there's some growing pains with that, but love his attitude. He's a worker, super humble, and again, very talented. He's got length and got a great frame, and very explosive, and tackling is very natural for him.
Coach, it's Trevor again. I was just going to ask you really quick about the Venables boys. It looked like Tyler was in great position to make the interception before the praying mantis came along and snatched it out of the air. Was he a little bit upset by that? And Coach Sweeney said that Jake rolled his ankle. How is he doing?
Yeah, I don't know if he was upset. I think he was excited. We made a great play. He's a good teammate, so he's fired up, for his teammate. But and then Jake, rolled his ankle on Thursday, and so I think he'll be better. I think he'll be back at it again. Kane came in and did a really nice job. Made some good plays and some good tackles, and the experience for him will really pay off. So, Tyler's really improved, and the more he plays, he's been really playing offense, for the last 3 years, and so he just has a lot of fundamental things to continue to get better at. But he gets more and more comfortable the more he plays, and he's got good instincts and very natural, aggressive player. And again, Coach Kahn's done a great job developing him and putting him in a position where he can, help where needed.